Thank you, and again, as I say, I appreciate you bringing these concerns up. I know obviously as owners of overnight accommodations, B&Bs and hotels, you have a concern that has been raised by my development. As I said earlier, the primary purpose of our building is, and focus is long-term residential tenants. We do have some tenants, primarily students, who choose not to be there for part of the summer months. And so last year we had 3 units that were available for short-term rentals. I think we ended up having, 8 or 9 weeks of rentals on a short-term. When we say overnight accommodation, the Residential Tenancies Act defines anything less than 30 days as being a short-term residential tenancy. That's why we call it an overnight accommodation. The reality is, it's a minuscule part of our business model. Our tax assessment does take into account that we have some short-term overnight accommodation. We're like this year, we are required to submit our sources of income, and based upon the sources of income, our tax assessment for our building in Antigonish was deemed X% commercial, Y% residential, based upon those streams of income. And and likewise for our HST submissions, we have to account for any short-term overnight accommodation that we have. If that was really our business model, I would have applied for a hotel license here or for a hotel accommodation. It's not. I mean, this came up because in part of the economic strategy of Wolfville, you are seeking more hotel accommodation. In my discussions with the town, they said, that would be something that would be good if it's part of the business model. I said, well, we have provisions for that. On our website, we have some provisions for short-term accommodation. We have not had one single overnight accommodation since August of last year. So what are we now? We're in January. The building is a residential building. I appreciate your concern. It really is not an issue in this particular case. The other issues, they're real, they're valid.
Excuse me, thank you.
Sorry. Okay. So when I say, again, hotel...
This is a B&B.
That's right, yeah.
And it is.
Yes. Inns and
In B&Bs, that's
Many.
correct, yeah.
Destination.
Excuse me, should
Sorry.
you have your opportunity? Thank you.
I mean, my operations manager has first-hand experience as to the amount of overnight short-term accommodation that we have. You're welcome to speak to that.
Actually, thank you. Hi, my name is Kuli Malhotra. It's the first time I'm attending this meeting, so thank you for giving me the opportunity to come here. It's quite interesting because
In your role is?
I am the operations manager that works with the developer with his current property and the future ones. But before I really, if I can take a few minutes to answer a couple of these questions that came up around hospitality industry. My background is also kind of from the university side of doing hospitality industry. My wife and I actually lived in Nominus here for about 2.5 years. My wife used to work at Acadia. I used to work at St. Abex, both in the residential / conference service. So some of the questions that came up specifically to where we're headed with this, as Chris mentioned, the whole model has been completely residential. There were some questions I was reading about violations of tenancies and contraventions of Residential Tenancies Act. The way it works is if we wanted to utilize the facility over the summertime as a hotel, we would have to go to the province and apply for a seasonal accommodations license. So regardless of whether there is a 33% chance or a 50%, whatever the agreement decides, to meet that, we still have obligations that we would have to apply for, just like any other hotel or B&B. So whatever those requirements are from the province, they apply to us as well. To give you an example of what Chris was mentioning, we did do a test pilot last summer. From our existing 5 units, we had 3 units that were used as overnight accommodations as a test pilot approach. We did use them for 9 weeks. It was based on our overall yearly model. It is minuscule. That is not our goal at all. It's not our market. But I believe in a free enterprise system, we do, like any other developer would have the right to apply for an accommodations permit, just like a B&B or any other place, any home that wants to apply for a B&B permit and go with that approach. I just want to, while I have this chance, I'll just say one other quick thing. I was hearing something earlier about a reference to the equity between generations. And I thought that was interesting because I won't get up again a second time and say this. I've written 3 integrated community sustainability plans in communities in Nova Scotia. And I've actually been involved here in Wolfville too, with the Atlantic Canada Sustainability Initiative a few years ago. So it's really good. I wouldn't have personally jumped ship with Chris to get on this project or get involved with it if it wasn't what it is. It's a sustainable development for the future. And it covers all the grounds that are being covered. So when we read things like, well, it doesn't provide opportunities for a variety of housing options to satisfy the needs, our whole model is we're constantly evolving and developing it to make sure that we meet all 3 areas of our market. And if we can't meet that market, we will fail as a business. So we are aiming for the student market, we are aiming for the professional, and we're aiming for the senior citizens. And we know that's what the market in Antigonish, Wolfville, and a lot of the small towns contains. I'll stop there, but hopefully at least around the accommodations piece and the summer model, hopefully we're able to answer that question, that our market is not the summer accommodations, but just like that, we would have the ability to apply for an accommodations license. Thank you.
Thanks very much.